Places where you don't expect to find grass. On a floating barge in New York City. Things you don't expect to do with grass. Paint it as a gigantic art project. But that's kind of what a Franco-Swiss artist named Sape has made his mission. He creates sometimes huge artworks using biodegradable paint on natural canvases like grass or beaches. And one of his pieces named Address Hate was recently completed on Staten Island and then pushed or pulled by boat around the Hudson River. Yes, there's a message to the masterpiece. Guillaume Leroux, which is Sape's real name, says this is about fighting all forms of hatred, particularly online. And because he sees internet platforms as being biased toward negative narratives, he's hoping works like this will help steer people toward the positive in the city he calls the historic gateway to the United States. It's not about politics, according to Sape. It's about working together instead of against each other, both here and in his home continent of Europe. I'm Carl Azus, and this is the world from A to Z. Welcome to the show. Yesterday, the U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments on a case involving birthright citizenship. Simply put, that's the idea that someone born in a country is automatically a citizen of that country and can receive citizenship benefits. In the United States, this issue is addressed in the 14th Amendment, which was ratified in 1868 and states, quote, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. In the 1860s, this clarified that black children born in the country, regardless of whether their parents were slaves, former slaves, or free, were automatically citizens. So what's the issue today? After he was sworn into his second term, President Donald Trump signed an executive order that specifies a limit on birthright citizenship. The order says if a child is born to parents who are in the U.S. illegally or only allowed in the country temporarily, the child is not subject to U.S. jurisdiction as outlined in the 14th Amendment and therefore not automatically a citizen. Experts say this could affect the status of tens of thousands of people currently living in the United States. And one goal of the order, as far as the Trump administration is concerned, is to prevent people from entering the country illegally or temporarily for the purpose of having a child here, so the child would be guaranteed citizenship. But immigrant rights groups, along with 22 states, sued the government. They say the 14th Amendment spells out that children born on U.S. soil are automatically citizens regardless of their parents' status. And one goal of the lawsuits, as far as they're concerned, is to prevent children of illegal immigrants or asylum seekers from living with an unclear or second-class status wherever they go. Federal justices in 3 states agreed with these positions and issued nationwide injunctions, legal orders that prevent the Trump administration from enforcing its executive order. What's before the Supreme Court right now is whether lower courts have the power to stop executive orders like this one while the legal process plays out. So the High Court's ruling, which is expected this summer, may not resolve the issue of birthright citizenship, but instead address lower court rulings versus executive orders.
Word of knowledge. Which of these historic queens was born in Austria? Catherine the Great, Queen Victoria, Eleanor of Aquitaine, Marie Antoinette. Married to a French royal to solidify a political alliance between the two nations, Austrian-born Marie Antoinette became the last queen of France.
On this date in world history, a historic wedding ceremony took place on May 16th back in 1770. That's when the future king of France, the man who'd become Louis XVI, got married to Marie Antoinette. He was 15, she was 14. Things did not go well for them during the French Revolution. On this date in 1975, a Japanese mountaineer named Junko Tabei reached the summit of Mount Everest. She was the first woman in history to do it, and hundreds have followed in her footsteps over the decades. And on May 16, 1991, Britain's Queen Elizabeth II made a historic speech. Before then, no British monarch had ever addressed a joint session of the U.S. Congress.
Where in the world? This is a small African country that you'll find in the central part of the continent.
It is landlocked and surrounded by the Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda, and Tanzania. Its capital is Bujumbura, and one of its official languages is Kirundi. This is Burundi, a nation of more than 13.5 million people.
Sylvie Mbonimpa and her daughter Melanie embrace in a traditional melodic greeting. Akazehe is an old Burundian tradition. The greeting is only performed by and for women, most often between mothers and daughters. It's a lengthy hello, beginning with an embrace and followed by a call and response song. The leader, typically the eldest of the two, calls out a series of blessings and questions, and the younger one answers. How are you? How's your husband? Are your neighbors well? Akazehe is Burundi's national language Kirundi, just set to music. And while the words may be familiar to those who speak Kirundi, few people today can actually understand Akazehe, and even fewer can respond.
With modernization, this traditional greeting has lost value.
The song's interlocking rhythms can make it a confusing feat to master, especially for younger generations. Social distance rules during viral outbreaks like COVID-19 haven't helped. In fact, Burundi culture officials say it hastened the greeting's decline. But it's not just a song that Burundians stand to lose. It's connection.
Akazehe is full of love, wants to you spontaneously. It shows that it's reciprocal. Younger generations of today find no interest in Akazehe, and as a result, if you ask me, nowadays we do not have the kind of pure love our moms experienced with our families, neighbors, and friends back in the day.
Now, Burundi officials, along with educators, are working to preserve the tradition with recordings and workshops. But they can't do it alone.
As elders, we fight to teach it to the young people so that they continue the Burundian culture.
Akazehe performers like Sylvie are key to its revival. It's a heavy burden to take on, but most are more than willing.
Call it the beautiful, call it the Yellowhammer State, call it Sweet Home Alabama. They're all nicknames for the place where Coach Hopper's class is watching. Hello to Liberty Middle School in the city of Madison, Alabama. Jumping west to the Beehive State, we're running with the Mustangs of Mill Creek Junior High School. Miss Brown's class is there in Mill Creek, Utah. Emerson High School is in the city of McKinney, Texas. Big hello to the Mavericks and Coach Cox's class who are watching from the Lone Star State. And finally, from the Grand Canyon State of Arizona, welcome to Mr. Boggs and the students of Anderson Junior High School. The Jaguars are in the city of Chandler. The only way I ever solved a Rubik's Cube was by peeling off the stickers. But no matter how fast you may be at it, you're not as fast as this. We're going to have to slow that down to prove it happened. There we go. This is a Rubik's unraveling robot made by students at Purdue University. They call it the Purdubik's Cube, which we love. Color recognition, custom algorithms, and motion control are all part of it. It earned them first prize at a student design competition and a Guinness World Record for robotically solving a cube in 0.103 seconds. Fridays are awesome. Cube. And even if critics called them square for blocking out time to make a quadrilateral move, they had all the right angles, took a multi-dimensional approach, covered all sides of the challenge. Whether there's a rubric for solving a Rubik's like a cubist, the Purdubik's Cube squared up and rocked the block fair and square. I'm Carl Azus. Please join us again Monday for the world from A to Z. You are the best part of what we do, and you mean the world to me.